Love.
Going live.
Quote tweet.
And now.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga.
2 in the box. Ready to go.
We be fast.
They be slow.
Cool.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to MyGeekmore. My name is Mike Mercadal. MyGeekmore is your favorite show where we make our MtRishmore of pop culture things, etc. Top 4 Mount Rushmore. With us, we have our own little Mount Rushmore of very. Stein doesn't have a beard.
Hey, Mike, can anybody else hearing feedback on my?
We are currently having technical difficulties
Yeah.
with our quarterback, Mike Mercadal.
Is that me?
Yeah,
was
please
you. He sounds
stand
much better.
by.
There
Hold on,
he
let me
is.
see.
There's
Hold
the
on.
voice.
There it is.
Testes.
There you go.
Is it better?
There we go. Now I can hear your beautiful voice.
Hi, everybody. Let's do that over. Hey, everybody. Welcome to MyGeekmore, your favorite show where we do our top 4 Mount Rushmore, if you will, of pop culture things. And yes, sounds of joy. And MyGeekmore, today we're doing the TV shows of 2021. Never has a year been more versatile with the definition of TV show. Do we mean this year? If it was on TV, do we mean streaming? Was it a broadcast only? If that was the case, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
But if it was serialized teleplay, it counts. So we're starting off. Let's welcome a special. Everyone is special, but let's special. Jeff Mercancini, say what's up.
What up?
We have David Ulloa down that way.
Howdy.
And then we have special guest Alex Stein from The Floor is Dungeon.
Who can do this with their fingers? Anyone?
Ooh,
Let's try it.
No.
Yeah, but it hurts a little bit.
I started a fire.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. If you're tuning in, you can watch us. If you're
started
listening
a
to
fire, he rubbed his fingers together, and now he burned his house down.
Really good audio for the podcast doing this.
Absolutely. If you, speaking of, if you are one of our audio listeners listening to this podcast later on in the future, you can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube at MtGeekmore, MtGeekmore on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can look us up and find us there. And you can watch live and be a part of the show. Join in on the comments if you're watching the show right now. Comment away. Go ahead. Send comments our way. And we always go to our comments for honorable mentions of your Mount Rushmore of today's topics. Speaking of, let's talk about how we came up with our mountains, starting with Jeff. Jeff, how did you do it?
So I made the conscious choice that it was just going to be shows that premiered during 2021. I'm not doing seasons. So you're not going to see certain shows that are like season 4 may have come out at the end of 2021. You're not going to see like shows that it's not the season 1. So that's the key thing that I did. Aside from that, it's just kind of all over the place. Like I look at my mountain and it's kind of all over the place.
Something I watched.
Yes, it was a thing on my eye
2021.
holes. Yeah, that's it.
And you're only doing shows that the first time they ever aired, like any version of the show, was in 2021.
Correct.
Okay, so new to 2021. That's the new mountain. How about you, Dave?
I did the same thing, except it could have started in 2020 and finished in 2021. Just so long as some of it first season
Stein,
was
we'll get
in.
to you. We'll get to you.
I just want to
have no fear.
I didn't know that we were rolling initiative for this shit, Mike. I didn't know we were like in a fucking order.
No initiative. We go round robin, baby. We go in a big old circle or
Alright.
a square, if you will.
Stein's initiative modifier is like +6. It doesn't matter what he rolls.
Stein has the alert feat.
Neri has no idea what we're talking about.
Absolutely not. If go listen to the Floors Dungeon and learn you some D&D. David, what about you? How did you come up with it?
So I just took a look at my list, and I guess like subconsciously I did the same thing. Or it just so happens that these are the shows that I most enjoyed. I didn't make a conscious effort to make it a show's debut in 2021. For me, it just had to be a show that had its run in 2021 and had to have been completed in 2021. So for example, the Book of Boba Fett, which is on now, I have really enjoyed the 2 episodes that have aired. I'm not going to judge a show based on 2 episodes.
Interesting.
It's just not fair. I think.
Right. So it had to have finished, or that whatever arc they were the story arc season / limited run series had to end in 2021.
I mean, it just so happens that every one of these shows that I picked both began and ended in 2021. I mean, I didn't really care that much as long as the show was on in 2021. It was fair game for me. But
it just happened to work out that way.
Yeah, it just happened to work out that way. Mandalorian, missed it by that much. Yeah, and
there's a lot of honorable mentions.
I only chose one of any specific genre, I guess.
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Stein?
I mean, I kind of already piggybacked on it, so I don't know if I'm allowed to talk more about. No, I'm just kidding.
It's your turn. This is the time you're allowed to talk.
Oh shit! Okay, let me just get ready. Yeah, kind of the same shit. Like it had to. Well, most of the stuff all the stuff I have is streaming. Everything but 2 of them all came. So half of the things came out all in one. But yeah, we're all nerds here. So there were going to be a lot of like superhero, sci-fi things up on the board. And I too wanted to sort of diversify it by genre as much as possible. We'll see. There's a little bit of overlap, but I think we might have some... I think we might bump heads on this one, guys. We might have some of the same shows on our list. What do we say if we have the same shows on the list?
Right.
You say table.
You say table.
So yeah,
if we mention it, you just say table, and then whenever it's your number, like what number you have it, because obviously you have it before, then you just tell us at that point.
Okay. So if it comes up, if you hear anyone say your pick, just say table. Or if it is your same round, you can say that as well. So if you land on all the same ones. I chose my mountain by literally Googling what came out in 2021 because time does not matter to me anymore. I have zero clue when things came out, what happened when they did. It is all very wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Oh, very nice.
And I had no idea what like, so I just kind of picked the ones from like this list of memorable top 2021 shows. So, and then I picked the ones that I watched all of it. And 2, I feel was either I genuinely enjoyed my time watching, or I felt it was important. Like it was a good, like, so there was something important about the show. So that was my thing. And of course, as always, if you, as we go around and we say our things, everybody gets their 5 minutes. And then if someone says your thing, you just say table. We're going to do our rounds, and then before we announce the first round, round 1, we will do our honorable mentions. So remember those as well. For the listeners, are we ready? Here we go.
With the 4th pick.
Number 4. Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives' crap. Let's get it on.
Hey. All right, Jeff, what do you got for your number 4?
Okay. I actually just thought of another one and stuff got moved out. So my number 4, it has a special place for me because and you'll know why, Stein, you'll understand after, but my number 4 is Only Murders in the Building.
Table.
From Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. Interesting.
All right,
Dave.
Heard great things about that. Love Steve Martin.
We'll get to it when it comes up again. When David, Dave, is it your number 4? What's your number 4?
It is not my number 4. So my number 4 was really difficult because I had to put a Marvel show on there, and it was possible to make the Mountain entirely Marvel shows because they were all excellent. But if I was being true to myself, I had to pick one that I thought was objectively not the best. Objectively, WandaVision was the best show, in my opinion.
Hey,
however,
okay,
that's not the one that I enjoyed the most. That's not the one I enjoyed the most. The one I enjoyed the most, which is my number 4, is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mean Captain America and the Winter Soldier? You racist.
Well,
whoa!
Wow, it was at the end. It was at the end.
It did. No, I love that. Was an amazing reveal. That was Falcon into Captain America.
Yeah, it was a great way to like really show Sam earn the shield. You know, like Cap gave him the shield, but he had not yet earned the title of Captain America. You know, that was something that hopefully he would earn. And in the comic books, it had been done so well. And he is, in fact, in the comics, the only person other than Steve Rogers to have Steve Rogers give him the title, because Stark gave it to Bucky, right? And of course, you know, John Walker had it given to him by the government. So it's a beautiful character arc for Sam. It's an amazing show for Bucky as well. It's got all of the Marvel pomp and circumstance. It's got, you know, explosions galore. There's tons of action. It covers one of my absolute favorite Captain America stories, The Captain, which is often called Captain America No More. And I absolutely loved every single moment of it. It was fantastic. It was really difficult to choose between that and WandaVision. I mean, all the Marvel shows were great, but for me, that was the one that really hit home for me.
That was a great Bucky show. Also, Sebastian Stan. Also, like New Orleans. Like they showed like a lot of the real life of the superhero, does an Avenger have to go to the bank? Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
They don't make the money you think they do.
Do they get denied a loan? Yeah, they get denied loans.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
Anchorman was ahead of its time. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
The Falcon was denied a bank loan.
It did have, bro. I'll tell you this. It had awesome montage of the repairing of the boat.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and like Bucky is like, yo, you're invited to the cookout.
Yeah, Bucky is cookout for like forever pass, lifetime pass to the cookout.
And that reveal of Sam in his Captain America armor is just I think one of the all-time great Marvel like reveals. You know, like you expect it's coming up, and so often the MCU gets close to what the comic book costume is, but it's like not quite there, you know. And this one was like damn near identical,
right?
So for a geek like myself who's geeked out over Marvel and specifically Captain America and his crew, you know, Falcon and Bucky and Black Widow and all those guys, this was a dream come true.
Did you feel that, okay, so there were rumors, I don't know if it was confirmed or not, but there were rumors that there was a whole subplot, like one of the major plot points of that was supposed to be in the show but was taken out, was a global pandemic inducing virus weapon that on the heels of COVID,
what a bummer that would have been.
They could not have, imagine, how unrealistic that would have been. That the whole pandemic.
This is fun.
Yeah.
I guess it was kind of like Spider-Man, you know, that they had to reshoot that ending with you know, the Twin Towers and all that. I don't know. I guess because there were so many people suffering at the time with that, you know, I mean, the deaths were just like
insane, and it was peak
insane.
COVID. It was like crazy COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a smart idea to cut that out if it was in there.
But the virus originated with Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Just the worst comic book artist of all time.
Yeah.
It just makes your chest expand too big, your waist shrink real small. Your feet can't be seen in frame.
I'm gonna do this right now. Rob Liefeld, I challenge you to a contest. You and me, who draws better feet?
Oh.
Okay, if you can manage to draw a foot. I mean,
for those of you watching and listening, Rob Liefeld, he watches the show. Dave, I don't know if you know this.
Did I say his name wrong? It's Liefeld this entire time?
Well, I always thought it was Liefeld.
Is it Liefeld?
I don't fucking know, dude. Fuck that guy.
I
don't want him to stop watching. We love you as a listener.
No, I challenge him to come on. Drop a comment in the things, and we'll send you the link so that you can come on the show and tell David what's up to his face.
That's right.
Thank you. All right. So how about Stein? What is your number 4?
Number 4. This is my horror genre pick. From Netflix and Mike Flanagan, Midnight Mass.
Table.
Oh, the Shiver Pod comes in with that. I love it, dude. I'm glad that somebody I knew we were going to be on the same wavelengths. All right.
My number 4, and I had to I needed to throw in a Star Wars show because they're doing a lot of good Star Wars stuff. Mm-hmm. But I went with one that I felt was important for different reasons, and I fucking loved it. And I had forgotten about it until I went back and I looked at it. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. That was that year. And I loved it. It's the Star Wars Visions. The Star Wars anime show. It was one of the things that Star Wars is doing now that I love is building out the world of Star Wars rather than just focus. Like, my opinion is that the sequels fell flat because they tried to tie it too much to the Skywalkers.
Right.
They literally called the last one Rise of Skywalker. It's like, I didn't.
Right.
When the Mandalorian showed that the world is rife with stuff you could do, and Star Wars Visions I thought was such a cool version because it was outlandish, crazy different, and still 100% Star Wars, and I fucking loved it. And I will say this, I didn't pick anything that had a binge release schedule. I forgot to say that in the start because that's been a big thing for me, is that I don't like the binge release, the Netflix or whoever else. Who else still drops like that?
Hulu does it sometimes.
Netflix does it with some things. They'll release 3 episodes or 2 episodes at a time. But yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever. My point being is that the weekly release I felt was very important because I was watching all of a sudden, everyone suddenly knew what anime was. Even that's the thing. I think the Disney Plus shows are kind of and what Disney has done with Marvel and Star Wars. The people who were not into those things became into those things. They are now, everybody knows what's up, and it was cool to see them do that with anime also. And also there was the umbrella lightsaber lady, and that shit was so dope as fuck.
It was so good. The Duel episode I think might be my favorite one, the one that they started off with that was very stylized and that sort of wood block ukiyo sort of art style, and you got the Jedi who's also kind of the Ronin, and is he a Jedi or what happened to him? This is the same one. That was the woman with the umbrella, right?
Because
that was the first episode.
It's
the first one.
He's a Sith too.
That's right. He had a red lightsaber. That's right.
And he collected the crystals.
There was the other one where the sword maker, where it was the saber, the guy who made the lightsabers and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then when they finally get to that meeting of everybody up in the thing, they're all Sith. They were all bad guys, and there was a big turn. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen,
I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, it's been so long. It's on me. I'm also gonna forget. So
it's also that's true. The vibe was very important, and I just love that show. And I thought it was. There's other shows to me that were bigger, but that one was. It felt very it's Star Wars and anime, and on all over the internet, people were doing memes of these things, and they're like,
Yeah.
the lightsaber's ready. You saw it all over TikTok. You saw it all over Twitter. I was like, this is kind of important. Like, more mainstream, like it's Star Wars anime. Like that's a big fucking deal. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, it was like the Animatrix, how when they had all of these different anime studios do their own story, so the styles are completely different. Like you've got the Astro Boy episode essentially, where it's very like chibi and cute. And it's like, can an android wield the Force and become a Jedi?
That one was almost the most violent one because they were like tearing shit out of bodies.
Yeah, it's wild. And then you got like the one that's like the super like with the brother and the sister, the twins that are fighting each other, and the lightsaber turns into like a fucking Death Star laser sword. He's just like, just like slices a like Star Destroyer out of the fucking sky.
Yes, bro. How fucking cool is it? All right, yeah. That's my pick. That's my number 4.
There's only one episode from that thing that I didn't really care for because you had all these badass other episodes. It was the music one, the band.
Shut the fuck. No, I'm
yeah. That's just Gordon-Levitt in that one.
Yeah,
but it was like again, a Star Wars anime musical was on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you gonna make that happen? Like that was a big deal, you know. Like to me, I was like, this is interesting to me. I really enjoyed it, and it was also cool to see like people reacting to it who probably would never seen anime, but because of like the Mandalorian and all these other things, were exposed to the Star Wars not just being Darth Vader and shit, you know.
Ooh, I love. Sorry, just one last one that I love. The old man with the fucking dual wielding.
Oh yeah,
dude. It's so cool. Everything about that whole
so
thing
creepy.
Dripping with style. That whole
you would really
I haven't seen the show yet, and it's not because I didn't want to. I just didn't have the time for it. But I didn't make the time for it. Let me say that. I didn't prioritize it, which I should have as a lifelong Star Wars fan. One of the things that really bugged me, even though I haven't seen the show yet, about so-called Star Wars fans, is that they were like, oh, I just don't understand, the whole anime thing. And it's like, do you not understand the origins of Star Wars? Because if you're saying that, something that is inherently Japanese has no place in Star Wars, you need to get the fuck away from me before we get into a physical
100%.
altercation.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's it for the number 4s. We have Jeff with Only Murders in the Building that was tabled. Dave with Falcon and the Winter Soldier / Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Alex with Midnight Mass that was vehemently tabled. And I picked Star Wars Visions. Here we go.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
I feel like we should I wish I could make that pop up in another window so you could see us doing this hand snaps. Number 3, Jeff, what do you got?
All right, so my number 3, I'm actually gonna bump up my number 2 back to number 3 and move the one I just thought of to number 2. So my number 3,
it's a living tapestry. This
it is.
Show.
My mountains always. Dave knows my mountains always fluctuate as I record.
It's a living document, is what it
is. Absolutely is.
So Loki's gonna get bumped off for Squid Game.
Table.
Table.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here quietly because both of mine have been tabled.
You'll get all your time to talk about it later.
I knew we were gonna fucking bump into each other on this one.
Yeah. Dave, what do you got for number 3?
So this is one that I am damn near certain is going to not be tabled because I feel like the target audience was me. And that was it. It was a show that I don't think did very much on Netflix. It was called The Chair, and it was with Sandra Oh as the first female English department chair at a prestigious university in Pennsylvania. And so me being an English teacher And
No, you're in education, so that
yeah, I'm in education. I'm a high school English teacher. I teach dual enrollment with one university, and I adjunct at a different university. So like this is the world that I live in. So to see a TV show take such an honest look at this very unglamorous profession that I work in, but have it also be treated with a little bit of reverence, but irreverence with the kind of humor that it was done with was absolutely fantastic.
Was it a comedy?
It was a dark comedy. So there's things like one of the professors, the one who was previously the department chair, who kind of has to leave under kind of not great circumstances. He's kind of filmed in his class, and something that he does is taken out of context, and it seems like he might be a Nazi. And there's all these sorts of things that she, as a department chair, has to deal with, which is part of what being a teacher is. You're constantly having to like look over your shoulder and make sure that in this day and age where any student can whip out a cell phone and record you and
reveal your Nazi sensibilities.
Well, and edit that recording and take that out of context. Like it's things like that. And then also just like the red tape, the bureaucracy of education, how that gets in the way of the beauty of education, of the reason why you want to do this in the first place. So it was a show, like I said, that I know was made for a very, very specific group of people. And nonetheless, I loved so very much. And the only reason why this isn't my number one or my number two is because the other ones are just funnier or spoke to me on a more personal level. But this show was like it was so good. Fuck.
I saw it listed as like a highly regard, like it was on the list of like good shows of 2021.
Yeah.
It does feel like there was a lot of like really niche television this year. It feels like there was a lot of very specific television.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you have for your number 3?
All right, so this is where my Squid Game lands. Does it go higher on the list for you, Mike, or are you at number 3 also?
It is higher on the list for me.
All right, tabled.
Okay. Tabled.
Hey, I saw the chair back when Clint Eastwood gave that speech about Obama. So I've already seen it.
Oh man.
It was critically acclaimed. Apparently, it's 85% fresh on
the
Rotten
chair
Tomatoes.
or the
well, Clint Eastwood, anything he does is critically acclaimed.
Everything Clint Eastwood does is great.
I do recommend it.
Yeah, I'm curious as to like how it sounds okay. Don't take this the wrong way, but it sounds boring. But
boring as fuck.
It does sound boring.
Some of the most interesting shows have been the ones that build tone and tension. And like they do slow pacing very well. Yeah. It's like Crimson Peak. Did you ever see Crimson Peak?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Guillermo.
Like, that is a slow movie.
Yeah,
but it builds tone. I'm not saying The Chair is a gothic horror movie.
No, it isn't. But in that respect, where the mounting tension of the professor who refuses to put out a statement of apology for the Nazi thing, her dealing with budget issues, her family stuff that's going on. It's I thought it was really good.
And then she encounters a haunted chair.
My number 3 is going to be it's definitely heavily flavored by what I just watched today, and that is Cobra Kai. Kai.
That's the one that I didn't put on because it's just season 4. But since I'm not doing like existing shows, but if not, it would have been on there for sure.
But I was just watching Cobra Kai today. I finished the new season today.
So good.
Cobra Kai,
so good,
is the one that it got dropped. Is because it's on Netflix. It's the only one on my list that is bingeable, because it's, to me, that is the perfect throwback show, nostalgia show.
100%.
They've tried to do it with some other things, and they tried to re-release. My girlfriend's watching the the new Sex and the City show, and everybody's got complaints. I don't think anybody has a complaint. Like
Even Peloton.
Peloton also. What a love-hate relationship they have with that show.
Yeah.
And Chris knows.
I keep telling my wife that show sucked when it first came out. Why did you expect anything else from it this time around?
Shots fired.
No, but it's not about whether or not the show is good or bad. It's whether or not the fans feel like it's more of the same or some betrayal. Like,
Dave, that was such a Samantha thing for you to say.
I
don't know what that means.
Jeff,
that means that you're a whore.
That is a very Charlotte thing for you to say.
Samantha was the best character on that show. How do you continue a show without its best character?
Hey! My pick was not Sex and the City.
It's Cobra Kai. We're talking about Cobra Kai.
I forgot that. Okay.
Just wait. Next episode, she'll be back, just like that.
And just like that time.
Drop it. Yeah. Drop it.
I love Cobra Kai. I think it took me a while to get exposed because it started on like YouTube Red or something.
Yeah, it was on
what a like. It is genuinely so much better than the sum of it's more than the sum of its parts, because it doesn't like the fighting doesn't necessarily look like
great.
It really doesn't. But neither did the Karate Kid. Like the Karate Kid, it was a very 80s fight career. But even then, like I was like every time there is some sort of like the tournament, they always go to the tournament. It's like I don't know how they're going to end this. Like I don't know whose side is the obvious winner. Sometimes I don't even know whose side to take. And it's because they presented it like dissects the problems that being nostalgic has, like that gives you, like being nostalgic for a time in the past is different than the reality of it. Because talking to like the what's his name, the Johnny Lawrence character, yeah, like if I had lost due to a technicality, I got kicked in the face, which is illegal.
It's a legal kick, bro.
It's an illegal kick. And he's still, but like imagine like the whole world changed around him, and suddenly rock and roll is not the same. Being a dick to women is not the same. Like being, like all of the world around him changed and makes him like the perfect allegory for like, hey, nostalgia can also be super toxic if you don't recognize the flaws that the past had and change them. And now like the way it's escalated between the kids and that stuff. Rookie, classic Woobro listener from the OG days.
Yeah, good to have you back.
I love how insanely low the stakes are on Cobra Kai.
What do you mean low stakes? The training in the valleys on the line.
He painted a mustache on my billboard and insulted my style of karate.
Not for the girl that has to like pay her own way because she doesn't have a family.
Right.
The bad girl from the other side of the tracks. And one of the things, like the whole premise of Cobra Kai is based off of this internet theory that Daniel was the villain in the original Karate Kid, and that Johnny Lawrence was actually the one who was getting bullied.
Yes.
And so when you watch the show through its 4 seasons, you'll notice that the characters, there's no clear-cut antagonist or protagonist in the show.
It's so great, and I love it, and that's why
John Kreese is starting to get a little bit of humanity.
Well, dude, Terry Silver gets brought back.
Dude, he was so good in this last season.
Good in the season.
Again, the previous season. No, when he goes to Japan and he sees the girl, because Karate Kid 2 is my favorite.
Yeah,
Karate Kid 2 is the one that I had on tape, and I wore that tape out. Karate Kid 2, because it has the Peter Cetera song, I am the man who will fight, when he does his training.
Apparently there's a reason why that's hasn't been used yet, but apparently there's actually like a legal reason why they can't use it.
There's a whole lot of that's another thing.
I think the better song is the one from the first one.
You're the best around.
I think the better song. I got my mountain. I think the better song was in season 4 when they did an homage to the Rocky beach training scene, and they used the song from the Rocky beach training scene.
The tone on that show, the setting, the vibe is so perfect. I love it. That's my number 2. So we have Jeff and Alex with Squid Game, David with The Chair, and me with Cobra Kai. Those are our number 3s. Let's go to round 2.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
Yeah, does it feel the same without watching us do dumb
Yeah.
shit? Jeff,
All
what do
right.
you have for your number 2?
So my number 3 is my one superhero show, which is the one I thought of right as we started recording. It's one that came out of left field and was actually really, really a great watch that I watched it a couple times, and it's Invincible.
That was oh man, it missed it by that much for me.
Me too. It's on my honorables.
It is 100% an honorable mention.
Like Robert Kirkman killed it with the series. Like, you know, seeing you know, first of all, you get the little bit of like Sky High where, you know, he doesn't have his powers and he's trying to figure out, and then you have your dad who's, you know, Omni-Man, and he's like this the epitome of good, you know. And I love those kind of twists where the person like the Superman is not really Superman. Like he's actually a piece of shit.
Spoiler alert.
Doesn't care. Well,
no.
I mean, at this point, like, guys, there's gonna be spoilers.
The show's been out for months.
The show's been out for months.
You know, I love seeing flawed characters, and then the more underlying story of you looked up to your father this whole time and you wanted to be just as good, if not better, than your father, and then you realize that the person that you've admired your whole life is a piece of garbage, and then now
beats the ever living fuck out of you.
Beats so much shit out of you that it's like,
what was the word you said last time?
Mollywops.
Mollywops. He gets mollywopped by his dad.
Is that like some old timey like 1920s? Like they got into fisticuffs and he got mollywopped.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Fisticuffs and mollywop go in the same sentence.
100%.
A ballyhoo, if you will.
And what I love about the show is when you can give me side characters that I absolutely adore. First of all, the voice cast on the show is like ridiculous, and like Jason Mantzoukas as Rex,
he killed it.
Like he was like one of my favorite characters on that show.
J.K. Simmons can do no wrong. You could make J.K. Simmons can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So good.
And that was also Sandra Oh in that also as the wife,
Sandra
right?
Oh. Yes.
Yo, when he calls his wife a pet,
it
was heartbreaking. Like genuinely, I felt like pain. I was like, oh my god, because first of all, the animation style is great, but also the voice acting in that moment where you could like hear her voice change and like the way they show the music, everything that, and the fact that he's hearing his mom called a pet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the you don't really see in all the superhero stuff that we've been given over these last few years, violence and gore. And then this comes along and people are literally ripped in half. I mean, except for the boys. I'll say the boys, you know, because the boys that open.
Boys honorable mention also.
You know, the boys definitely does that. So I'm not gonna say, but this
season 2 of the boys 2021.
I don't think it was.
Was it?
I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I didn't say the boy. What? Why did you yell at me?
You said honorable mention.
Yeah.
That's one demerit for Mike Mercadal. Put it on the board.
But you know, you get this and you get to see these characters, and it's just they're just either getting murdered or just slicing people in half, ripping people apart. That you were always wondering, why didn't Superman just punch through that guy's face? You know, and now you get to see it. I really loved you know what they did. Robert Kirkman as a writer, not on the last 8 seasons of The Walking Dead, it's great. You know, I hope that they don't go too far with Invincible, just because he always seems to get to like a wall where then stuff just kind of starts to like wane.
Well, the comic book is done.
Yeah, but I think they're doing a season 2.
No, I mean to say that like he had a clear, you know, beginning, middle, and end.
Okay, yeah, because in Walking Dead he was still writing it.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love the show, and like you said, the animation style was really dope to see that in, and like I said, those cast of characters, Duplicate, having the affair with Duplicate.
Oh, the monster girl,
oh, right.
Reverting in age.
Oh yeah,
was very much a questionable.
Very interesting.
Like, whoa, how do you, you know? And then the robot building his own body as a boy, like so he could be with Duplicate. Weird, but
that was like a theme that was touched on back in like Batman the animated series. There was like a villain who was trapped inside the body of a little girl, but she was a full-grown woman. And it's like this was like a children's show essentially, and they brought it back and put it in Invincible. And I guarantee you, talk to Robert Kirkman will be like, yeah, that's the inspiration for that. Shit.
Well, Batman the Animated Series is goated forever and could make every mountain of all time ever. It's the best show in the history of television.
100%.
I'm just flexing.
But that's Invincible's a great pick. Dave, what do you got for your number 2?
My number 2, unless someone has it higher, we can talk about it now, is Only Murders in the Building.
No, that's just
that was just Jeff and myself.
That was just Jeff. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's I loved that show, but go ahead.
This show was a bit of nostalgia to see Short and
Martin
and Martin together. Yeah, thank you. Was having a brain fart there. It was fantastic to see those guys together again. And I have never considered myself a fan of Selena Gomez. I never thought of myself as not a fan of Selena Gomez, but I am definitely a fan of Selena Gomez now.
She's awesome
because she absolutely killed it. And
no pun intended.
Yeah. I mean, as a comedy, this thing works on every possible level, right? But also as a murder mystery, it works on every possible level,
right?
And it's also incredibly timely with the fact that they're producing a podcast, and that you have this Gen Z or millennial showing these baby boomers how to adult in today's day and age. Like it was so incredible and touched upon so many different things and made me laugh so hard every single time.
There was a lot of weird New York stuff too. Like there's certain things that, because my girlfriend and I watched it as it was there, because it was a weekly airing thing, and we would be like, oh, new episode drop, we got to watch it. And there was some very odd, like specific New York things, like Upper East Side, Upper West, like rich New Yorker, like weird like apartment neighbor things. Right? Did you see it, Stein?
No. So if you can avoid spoilers,
this is the New York.
Need to watch it.
This is the New York.
We can go over. We can talk about it without spoilers. That's not a problem. Yeah.
I will say that Martin Short was the MVP of that show for me.
Absolutely.
100%.
So
he was
fucking funny, that guy.
But with me, so I had it as my number 4 because ironically, it started just after Q and I started the True Crime podcast. The first episode came out, so I was like, this is really cool that it just happens to coincide. What I love about it is that it shows that true crime, it goes from Selena Gomez, who's I forgot how old she's supposed to be in the show, but mid-20s, and then you've got Steve Martin and Martin Short, who Steve Martin's in his 70s, he says at one point, and Martin Short's in his mid 60s, he says, he lies about, but I love the fact, and Dave, I think this is probably why you were drawn to it too, is that you got the old-timey feel of an old, like, serial, like, radio mystery show.
Yeah.
Well, they were literally doing the, like, so in a show where exposition and like big monologue dumps is wrong, when you're doing a show about a podcast, there have to have those. Yeah, that's literally what the podcast is a big old exposition dump and a big old, like, what's going on in their head. You don't have to, they can verbalize it through the podcast, scenes, and like have it be written and have its own vibe. And it's like a radio drama because they are literally saying what they're thinking and what their next steps are and all that shit.
And it managed to feel very much like a classic noir production, and also feel incredibly new and hip, to use an unhip term, with the way that it was done.
Yeah, that was great. Great pick. I really like that. It's definitely something that if you haven't seen it, Alex Stein, you should go watch it. Yeah, it's definitely worth it, just for the, like, watching the banter. It was a very bantery show, and just watching it's just really well. The dialogue is well written, but the bigger picture story structure is also really solid. With, like, what more do you want?
And you got Nathan Lane as the neighbor.
He was
so
nice.
Oh my god! Yes, phenomenal. Nathan Lane is in it. Yeah, Sting
Sting. Oh my God,
Sting is in it.
Yeah,
Sting
is in it, and Sting
Well,
is brilliant.
Sting is great. That was a great number 2. Stein, what do you have for your?
I had a poster of Steve Martin up in my room in college. It was the famous like Annie Leibovitz, and he's like in a white suit and there's like paint all over him. Yeah. So like he is one of my like comedy icons of my life. So yes, definitely need to fucking watch Only Murders in the Building. Okay. Number 2 on my list. So this is my my Marvel show. WandaVision's coming in at number 2.
Table.
Okay, there it is. We figured it out. We figured it out.
We found where my
do.
Oh yeah, come on. Give me a minute. This is where now I would like to talk about Squid Game.
Hey,
Squid Game. Because
give me all the Korean TV and movies.
So good. I will say it's on my mountain for that exact reason. Everyone in the people in the United States, all of what is normally considered the type of audience that we're always told, like, oh, we can't have a movie that's entirely in a foreign language. We can't do you need a white person so that the audience can identify with the main character so they can connect to the story. This literally was made by Koreans, 100% in Korean with Korean sensibilities, and it was the most popular show in the fucking world. It was
for
weeks.
weeks. Yeah.
The most diversity it had is that it had an Indian person in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, no, there was the white people in the masks.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Those shitty.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. I forgot about the big bads at the end there.
The old man actually won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor.
Hey, they live tweeted it to him. Good job, dude.
Yeah. But Squid Game. So I'm a massive fan of any of these type of like. I don't want. I get. It's not really a dystopian, but it kind of is because there's this game going on. But it's not really dystopian. But I'm like Battle Royale and like all these other shows.
Oh no, it's absolutely dystopian. You can definitely teach this as a dystopian fiction.
So sure. I absolutely, because it could be hostile. Technically, it could be hostile.
Running Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the exact vibe I got was Running Man.
Yeah, I love these types of movies where it's like where you have this opportunity, you do this game, and the truth is that the game itself isn't the main focus. It's you start learning the stories of these people, and you start seeing and it's like, for example, the one guy that everybody thought the main character thought that he was huge, that he made it, and that he was wealthy and all this stuff with the glasses, and it turns out that he failed, and he was not successful. He was not anything, and he was doing this because this was the only way for him to be or appear to be the person that everybody thinks he is. So there's a lot of these in-depth character analyses in this with this wacky game show going on.
I mean, wacky is one way to put it. I will say, I do need to backtrack. I'm kind of full of shit for the reason why I picked my mom, because I genuinely picked more Netflix shows than I realized.
Oh yeah, so that you could binge the whole thing.
Yeah,
I got 3 out of 4 Netflix on my list.
Apparently, I picked 2 Netflix shows, but I feel like, okay, my thing with Squid Game was it was instantly memeable.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It was everywhere with just the visuals, with the masks, the face, the helmets with things.
Oh yeah, the PlayStation controller,
people, and then the fucking like the little girl with the eyes, the red light, green light, and the line. I don't know the words in Korean. Where it's like red light, green light. If you watch it in the original Korean.
My son plays Roblox, and he was walking around the house saying that because in Roblox they've made the red light green light game.
That's not creepy at all.
So he's like Coco Mano Mi, like he's singing it, walking around the house, and I'm like, you're gonna get kicked.
They're also Jeff's son and my son go to the same school, and my son came back from school one day singing that, and I was like, the fuck have you been up to, kid? They're playing it. Have you seen this show Squid Game? I'm like, have you seen this show Squid Game?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on in
How
that
do you
school?
know what the fuck? You know what? But the whole premise of the show, where I'll tell you when the show really kind of turned for me was when they let them go home.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't like they were held captive. They let them
There
go
was
home.
a rule where everyone
But
could
they
just
were.
go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone voted. Everyone said what they said.
And
The
it had-
whole-
But they were, because they knew, they knew that they had to come back.
Mhm.
how wild though.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, it was like that was a turning point in the show for me. And I'll tell you what, the point where they show the betrayal of the supposedly good guy when they do the marble one.
Yeah.
The best episode of the series.
Yeah.
When they show how like he just doesn't give a fuck and he sells this
He fucks
guy
over Ali.
Yeah.
He fucks over the only diverse person.
The best character in the show.
Yeah.
He was one of, well, I argue that I didn't like this character, but but it was like, because you're not supposed to. The lady that was calling flirting with him.
Oh, right. The crazy.
Great
The one that had sex
What
with the guy in the bathroom.
With the criminal dude. Yeah. With the fucking tat. And yes.
So there were so many good characters.
And those games were brilliantly done, like brilliantly set up.
Really well balanced, really well, like the set design and everything was.
The whole production design was
amazing.
Beautiful, like so colorful and playful, and then you juxtapose that with all of the blood and violence.
Right.
It's just like a really fucked up Willy Wonka. I'm not that Willy Wonka isn't fucked up, but like
Willy Wonka's pretty fucked up.
Pretty fucked up.
Pretty fucked up.
And like more fucked up Willy Wonka, believe it or not.
The idea of the island, and then the fact that everyone, like, basically just proved, just fucking make movies in whatever language you want to make them. Like, tell stories in the original language. I like before the Omicron and last year when I was I got a chance to travel. Once I got vaccinated, once everything opened up a little bit and it was starting to soften a little bit, I went to Hawaii with a group of people, a bunch of healthcare workers. We were all like, fuck it, we're going to Hawaii. Took a nice little trip, and they were telling us the story of all the Hawaiian kings, like King Kamehameha, and all the like battles that happened. And then they were like always include, like in the audio tour that we had, they always included the American or the English like ships that were trying to take the land or whatever. I was like, I don't give a fuck about them. Tell me the fucking Hawaiian story.
Yeah.
Do it in the original language. Like, I just was like, there's no need for the white savior. There's no need to Last Samurai it and put Tom Cruise in it. None of that. Just tell me the fucking story. If it's good, people will watch it.
Yeah.
And that's I think that was, I think, a big lesson. That's why it's on my mountain. Is the lesson learned there.
Well, Bong Joon-ho, who did Parasite, which won Best Picture, foreign movie winning Best Picture in 2019. He said, like, when accepting his Oscar, it might have been later, but if I remember correctly, this is when he said, he's like, once you get over that tiny wall of white text at the bottom of your screen, you're going to open up your entire world to just way better stories, way bigger stories that you never would have exposed yourself to. So just get over it, guys.
Well, there's
get over it. Who needs to hear it? Get over it.
Speech.
That's one of those running jokes where it's like, I'm convinced that people who don't like subtitles can't read fast. You know what I mean? Like they're just like like you're dummies. You're dummies. It's just read. It's right there.
Did Mike just call Neri a dummy?
I've called a lot of people dummies on this show.
Oh, okay.
It's true.
Not to defend himself. Is he in our mentions? Is he chatting at us right now?
Not. He's
taking care of his wife for her birthday.
Yes,
good. We can say whatever we want, you big dummy.
Yeah, it's not like this is getting recorded or broadcast anywhere.
At all.
Shit.
Happy
birthday, Neri's wife.
Yes, Vanessa. Thank you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, salesperson Clancy.
So for round 2, we had Invincible with Jeff with Invincible, great pick. Dave with Only Murders in the Building, following up the original round 4 pick by Jeff. Alex Stein, you got WandaVision, that got tabled for well, no spoilers. I guess we know which one it is. And then we got Squid Game, which everyone but Stein said already, right?
I said it was my third.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
no.
I think Dave
Dave
didn't have it.
Yeah, and that was our round.
Link
2.
would have had it.
How about our honorable mentions? Jeff, hit me.
All right, Neri's not here, so I'm gonna hit you with a few more than I normally do, because there's so many. So this one almost made my number 4. It's not a lot of people I've heard have seen it, but Reservation Dogs on
Heard it's good.
Hulu.
It's on my list. Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet's really, really good.
Honorable mention.
I got bored. I got bored of that one.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those slow shows that didn't get me.
Okay.
It was the subtitles. Couldn't get over.
I could get over. I needed the subtitles for the British.
There's a show that I actually liked that I don't think a lot of people did, but The White Lotus with Alexandra Daddario that came out. I actually dug that show.
I heard that was really good.
I'm gonna say a couple more and then I'll be done. I don't want to take all of them up, but MODOK.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't gotten to it.
MODOK's pretty damn funny. Patton
Really?
Oswalt did a good, decent job with that. History of Swear Words is technically a show.
That was
yes, that was
so
great.
good.
Yeah,
And then finally, last one, because I don't care what anybody says, I fucking dug the show, and I'm sad that it got canceled. Cowboy Bebop. I enjoyed the show.
I haven't seen the live action.
I enjoyed it.
It is not. I don't understand why people flip the fuck out.
I don't get it.
Like it's good. Like it's just a show. Also,
it's the
just
same
a show.
reason that people like Dave, you were saying earlier about like Star Wars fans and anime. Like they see it a way that they want to see it, and it can't be anything other than that precious thing that they hold on their mantelpiece.
Yeah,
like this is not a direct adaptation. It's fucking fan fiction.
John Cho, in my opinion, is a great spy.
He killed it as
I
Spike.
haven't even seen it, and I already know he's a great spy.
Living his best life, and it was so stylistic the way they're just all having such a great time.
The cinematography of dude, it's based on an anime. It's one of the most anime looking live action shows I've ever seen.
100%.
And then people were like, "Oh, they made it look too much like the anime," and I'm like, "What the
What
fuck
do you
want?
want?" Yeah. And then people started equating the dialogue with like Joss Whedon, and he's like going through a moment. They're like, "Oh, this is very Joss Whedon-y, this dialogue. But did he write this?" And it's like, yeah, it was all fucked up.
Mustafa Shakir as Jet was he was my favorite character on the show.
Right.
Like,
and I loved his response to it. He's like, when it got canceled, he's like, "We loved what we did. No one can take this away from me. I was Jet in Cowboy Bebop, and I loved what we put." And I was like, he's like, he's right. You know how big? Imagine you get cast to be anything that you loved. Like,
yes,
come on, that's amazing. What a vibe.
Big deal.
Dave, what about you? Honorable mentions.
Jeff, did you have more?
Oh,
Chucky, but
Chucky.
Oh, okay.
Chucky has a TV series.
Chucky?
I haven't seen it yet.
Chucky was on
good?
Sci-Fi, but it's on Hulu. Yeah, it's got
a series or a movie?
Yeah, it's a series, and it's got like 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Now I know that there were they filmed it and edited Chucky for Sci-Fi, and then they edited Chucky for a different network. I can't remember what it was.
I think it's on, it's on Hulu now.
Hulu, yeah, and it was like all the gore was in the Hulu version.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I gotta watch it. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Wow, what a weird. There's two versions. One of them more violent than the other. Interesting. Why would you watch the less violent one?
I appreciate you, Dave. Even though I gave like 6, you let me still do more. I appreciate it.
Aw, friends.
It's not like Neri. Neri's like, "No, bro, why you don't bring 4?
Shut the fuck
just 4, bro. Come on."
What a dummy.
Well, it was a little self-serving because I also have dishonorable mentions.
Ooh.
So
let's shit on some
I'm gonna let a little bit of my basic bitch out here. One show that debuted the last week of 2020, but ran through 2021. Bridgerton. I fucking loved Bridgerton.
Oh, that got a lot of love.
That was 2021. Okay.
I thought it was fantastic. It debuted on Christmas of 2020. But I mean, come on, that's a 2021 show.
If
right?
it ends in yeah.
I just watched it because I went back and I was like, everybody like loved this show, and I finished like binging it like last week, and I agree. So sexy, so steamy.
That's all I heard about it. How horny that show was.
Yeah,
everyone
so
was talking
You're
about
never
it in
gonna
2021. So to me, that's a 2021.
You're never
show.
gonna look
I'd
at a
fuck
library.
Reggie Sean Page. You kidding me?
I would definitely fuck him.
The Duke. Oh.
See, people say that all the time. You have to say, "I would let him fuck me." That's the role.
Sure. Yeah.
That would be rough. I mean, as long as there's lots of Vaseline, I'm okay with it.
Let it rip.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now bonafide 2021 shows here, and to continue my basic bitchness, I'm gonna go with Emily in Paris. I thought was great, and I know that I shit on Sex and the City earlier, and it's the same creator, but I think that is what Sex and the City always wanted to be. Schmigadoon.
Schmigadoon, I heard was so funny.
So funny. It's Cecily Strong and Keegan-Michael Key, and they absolutely knock it out of the park. If you're a fan of old school musicals and romantic comedies, you'll really, really enjoy that show.
Cecily Strong is so underrated. She's one of the funniest people
really
on the
is.
fucking planet, and I don't know why she's not in a million other things.
Yeah,
she just is. She loves SNL apparently, and just does SNL.
Yeah,
is that not enough, Mike? Is SNL not enough?
The character she does on SNL is incredible.
Everything she does in SNL is amazing.
Yeah.
The conclusion to the Transformers War for Cybertron series, Kingdom, on Netflix was fucking out of hand. It was really, really good, and it was filled with nostalgia, but also a great way to move the series forward and have it be something like new and modern, but also pay homage to the original show, which leads me to my dishonorable mentions. Masters of the Universe Revelations is the most garbage thing I have ever seen. Kevin Smith, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Bold
right?
statement. I liked it.
Rob Liefeld and Kevin Smith, you come over to my house, all right? We'll have a beer, and I'm going to tell you why what you've done sucks.
They are both rich and famous and do not care.
No, they don't care.
Bust out the Vaseline.
And the other dishonorable mention that I have was one that I saw approximately 3 episodes of with my wife before I said, I cannot stomach another fucking episode of this show. And I promptly stood up and walked away. It was a show called The Prince, which was an animated show about
Was it about Prince?
No, it was about Prince William and Kate's son. And it was
is that the animated one?
The animated one. It was the most unfunny thing I've ever watched in my life. And whoever created that TV show
come to my house.
Has a lot to answer for.
Me, Kevin Smith, and Rob Liefeld are having a tea party.
Yeah,
I would love for you to come join.
I'm going to serve you some light beers, a charcuterie board.
Wow. But that damn. Oh well, I
saw one episode of that show and it wasn't good.
Yeah. Also, like when your humor is at the expense of humor, right? "Quote unquote," like it's supposed to be funny, is at the expense of a real child. Like that's not cool.
Oh, is that what that's what bothers me?
I mean, I love America's Funniest Home Videos though.
I watch
watching kids get like fall over all day.
Yeah, all day.
All day.
They have to be mildly injured, no serious injuries.
Correct. Fact.
Yeah. Children getting mildly injured is hilarious.
All day.
Stein, what do you got for honorable mentions?
All right, so starting with Loki. I'm just gonna give it Loki and Hawkeye. I love them both.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused by some of the choices made in Hawkeye, but the whole style of Loki, that one takes it for me. It was like I almost put that up there instead of WandaVision, kind of like Dave, how you put Falcon and Winter Soldier in instead of like WandaVision, just because it really is the He Who Remains, the multiverse, like the jumping off point of like the next phase of Marvel. I know that they like introduced it somewhat with Wanda at the end. We'll talk about it soon, I'm sure. But yeah, Loki was fantastic. Great performances. The style of like the TVA, being that like old school 70s style bureaucracy. I just think they fucking nailed it, man. The variants were very, very fun. True Story. Did you guys see with Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes?
I've heard of it. Neri told me about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's so good. So Kevin Hart kind of plays himself, but he's also playing dramatic. They like, spoilers for True Story, but like Kevin Hart's brother gets out of prison, and he basically tries to set up his brother, who's a gigantic celebrity, like Kevin Hart is. You know, he's like a multi-billionaire. He's known everywhere he goes, beloved by everyone. And like one night they go out and they're partying. He's like, nah, I don't want it. He's like, oh, come on, I just got here. So they get drunk and then he wakes up with like a dead girl next to him. Well, really, he's like conning his own brother to try to get money out of him. And he like, it's a fucking trip. It's a wild ride. Billy Zane's in it.
The Billy Zane.
The Billy Zane
Mechanics
is in
Billy
it.
Zane.
Mm-hmm.
The Phantom's Billy Zane.
Phantom himself. Listen to your friend Billy Zane. Here's one that got canceled, and I'm really sad that it did, is Why the Last Man.
Yes, I was into that show.
So fucking good. And it's like,
yes.
It's, you know, the comic book is incredible. You know, it's giving all of these women a chance to like just fucking power through. Like, finally, we've taken the Smurfette principle and flipped it on its head. We don't have one woman character. We literally have one male character. But I guess, like, does it pass the Bechdel test? I guess it doesn't, because they're all talking about the one guy. No, I'm just kidding. It does.
Well, no.
They for the most part, they think they're all dead. So, yeah.
What an interesting show in the way that it handled trans people.
Yes.
Trans men. And it was like this weird, it was slow to get going, but once it did, you know, the whatever reason why all the men died hits, the whole thing, it just goes off the rails. What's that? Diane Lane?
It's a Diane Lane. Yeah.
She's amazing in everything, but she was great. It sucks that it got canceled. I was excited to see where it went.
Just real quick, like my last ones that had like multiple seasons. I just got on the Succession train. I'm loving everything Adam McKay is doing with his life. I just started Ted Lasso season 2. I hear it's really good. I'm glad that I have this on here. Sexy Beasts, where people date in like full special effects.
Oh my god, I saw that shit. Oh my god,
I have not heard of this.
Yeah, they're literally in
Dave
special effects makeup, and it's like, so you're on a date with an orangutan.
There was a devil lady.
Oh my god. The special effects makeup is incredible. It's so fucking weird. They go on dates. It's like, I don't know if I really like the zombie, but the pixie's doing it for me.
Oh my god, the statue.
Something about the
penguin
penguin
made of stone, like like the Rock Man.
And last but not least, for me, my favorite competition show that has come out in recent years is Lego Masters.
That show is fantastic.
I love it. It warms my heart. It's so colorful and happy, and like Will Arnett is a great host. Like, I love it. So those are my honorable mentions.
I'll be quick with my honorable mentions, because there's a couple there that. Okay, so first, Ted Lasso. I feel like the reason why it's not on my mountain is because it's one of the best shows on television. Season 1 was so much better than season 2 in my eyes. But it's still a fantastic, amazing show, and it probably had to struggle through that COVID editing process where it changes everything. Rick and Morty, same. Rick and Morty was the when they finally released the 5th season and all that stuff. It was a big deal, but deserves honorable mention. Another show, Shadow and Bone. Did anybody watch Shadow and Bone?
I never watched it. Saw it, but I never saw it.
Pretty good show. And then one that I'm watching now currently, and it was, again, the first season I feel was better, but the second season is still great. For All Mankind on Apple TV.
Oh, yes.
For All Mankind, that first season was amazing. The second season is great. Otherwise, it would have made my mountain.
Well, and the only reason, so like What We Do in the Shadows, because it's on season 3, I think now. That was what came out.
I still haven't watched it. I have it written here, but I can't say because I haven't watched it, but I know it's great.
That's my favorite comedy on TV.
Fuck, I forgot about What We Do in the Shadows.
This season was really good too.
Oh man, Alex, talk about WandaVision. Fuck the table. Oh, damn, I committed too soon.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, that was
Number
great
one,
for honorable mentions. Now we got to go on to number 1.
Round 1.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Do it! Do it! Come on! Come on!
All right. What do you have for your number one, Jeff?
Well, I think Dave and I both have the same number one, which is Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass.
Yeah,
It was the first one that came to mind.
Yeah, same with me. I'm a vampire whore. So you give me that.
It's vampires?
You could take that in a lot of different ways there, Jeff.
You're a vampire, sure.
I
I like how that's not what I focused on. I was like,
Or for
it's
vampires.
vampires?
That was not what I focused on either, but it was really
Wait, hold on.
cool.
I'm sorry, Mike. Did you not watch the show?
No, I haven't seen it.
So
well,
good.
shit. Nothing happened.
No vampires at all.
No vampires exist in that show whatsoever.
I get it.
Something about Mike Flanagan. Like this was the first because the haunting of shows were just retellings of books, like they were adaptations. This was his own baby. Yeah, this was his own baby that he wrote, he directed, he did all of it. And there's just something about all the underlying topics fitting together so beautifully in this. And he was able to create this world on this island without it being burdensome for people. Because a lot of times when you have these big casts where you're interested in everybody, it can get bogged down with all the telling of the information. I feel like he was able to like meld it so fluidly that you weren't bored, even when it was slow, because it doesn't really get really good till the last 3 episodes. But even those
when
first
no vampires show up
at all. So I absolutely adored it. Like everybody put on a performance in the show.
Wait, did all 3 of you say Midnight Mass?
I had as my number 4 though.
Yeah,
but still, so literally, shit. Now I have to watch this show.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Really I would say you have to watch the show, Mike.
Yeah,
but Hamish Linklater,
Hamish
tour de
killed
force fucking performance from him.
Which one's he?
He's the priest. He plays the priest.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. He was on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's been in a few things.
He's like one of those character actors where you're like, oh yeah,
he's that guy.
He's that guy from that thing.
That guy from that thing.
Yeah. For me, this show, I don't know that any show has ever spoken to me on such a personal level before. I've often watched things that I felt like, man, that I can relate to this. This was the first time that I felt like a filmmaker sat down with me and looked me in the eye and said, I understand you, and made something for me. There's without trying to give any spoilers away, there's a scene where 2 characters are sitting on a couch talking about what the afterlife is. And one character talks about what he envisions. And I have never heard someone put my own thoughts more eloquently and perfectly on paper and recorded on film.
Wow.
Than in that one instance. I was crying from how beautiful it is, because I have an incredibly nihilistic view of the world and of religion and spirituality. And I grew up incredibly religious and am no longer. And I grew up incredibly spiritual and am no longer. And this show for me was not that you crave validation or anything like that, but to see that someone has also gone through the same sort of journey that I have, and to see that it is painful, but that you can kind of work through that. That was amazing for me to see, and to see it done in such a beautiful way, because it's art.
Is this a limited series, or is it?
It's like 10
a
episodes.
limited series.
No, it's like 8 episodes, I think.
Yeah, it's 8 episodes. But I mean,
so is there more to the story, or does it end?
No, that's it.
It
ends, and it's fairly definitive. And there is somewhat of a kind of like an Inception ending, where you're not exactly sure what happened there at the end, but It's so good. And as much as I will always tell people that, oh, you want to see Mike Flanagan, go ahead and watch The Haunting of Hill House. I think that this is it is art. The way that he filmed, there are frames where it's like that one frame could be put up in a museum, and it would be, you know, right up there with anything else. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. This is the best show I've seen in a long time, not just in 2021.
Yeah. And you know, I was born and raised Catholic, like Dave was. I mean, throughout, you know, I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to I graduated from high school, Catholic school, and it does resonate you so much, and it's, you know, it talks a lot about blind faith and about, you know, just the needing to believe in something, whether you really understand it or not. You know, it talks about a lot of, you know, like the whole thing with the sheriff. Raul Coley kills it as the Sheriff Hassan. He's the only Muslim on this tiny, like, New England island. That's the clip that I saw going around on social media. The centerpiece of this island is the church. And this guy's just comes in, and he's a Muslim sheriff, having surrounded by all these people that are devoutly, you know, Christian, Catholic, whatever. I don't remember if do they say it's Catholic? I think they do, because
it's a Catholic mass that they're attending. And if you grew up Christian and Catholic like I did, like, you know, every single one of these characters. Yeah, they're all people 100%. That were in your life at one point or another. And
so for your two number ones, the comedy hit Midnight Mass, apparently.
And that's my number 4. You know, I grew up Jewish, and little thing, Jews, like, we have our religious services at night because we are all vampires.
Right.
That's when you can build your space lasers.
Your space lasers.
Yeah, vampire Jewish space lasers.
Yep. Nailed it.
Perfect. Energy source is blood.
Right, what do you got for your number 1?
Number 1 coming in. Okay, so this show, I couldn't believe it. When it came, because I've never played League of Legends. I have no interest in playing League of Legends.
Okay.
I know nothing about it. Arcane on Netflix is a piece of fucking artwork. Just like you were saying, Dave, every single frame of this show is so lovingly crafted, gorgeous, beautiful, like an animation style. It reminded me of when I saw Into the Spider-Verse the first time.
Okay.
You know, and there's even like an episode where this character also, like, Haley Steinfeld's having a year. She voices one of the main characters in this, a character named V, who gets these just like, you know, and I'm a huge D&D nerd. It's very much D&D. It's like, if any of the people out there are familiar with the world of Eberron, it's very much Eberron. Like, things are powered by crystals. It's got that sort of like steampunk / cyberpunk feel to it. The performances are great. The characters are developed lovingly from the beginning to the end. They go through such an emotional arc. I cannot. It was so good, it made me want to try League of Legends.
Wow.
Like, I've heard that from people, that because my friend was telling me, you have to watch this, but I don't play League of Legends, and he was like, you don't need to. He's like, you don't need to.
That's what I heard too. I was gonna say that for a video game adaptation, it does not require you to know, like, it's the story is. I guess it's because the video game isn't necessarily a story-based game that they. But it
is though. The thing is that, like, you would never know it from just an outside perspective. But there really is a huge world and tons of lore that has been built into the game. I mean, they truly are legends. You know, you can't have
Overwatch and all those games that are basically combat games, but every character is like dripping with some reason.
Yeah, there's like
no more.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Apex Legends
story and everything. Yeah, behind
but
it.
The game itself doesn't necessarily take you through a story, so those are perfect for video game adaptations. To like, just go nuts.
Yeah, it's like you don't get to see what the depth of the story is in these relationships between these characters. And then they're like, well, we might as well mine that and turn it into this show. Like, And when I say that every single frame of this thing, it's like you're looking at it and you're thinking like, this is somebody painted this, you know? But it's like, it's moving because it's animation. And I don't know. My mind is still sort of blown by the whole thing. If they release an art book, I'm buying it.
That's a great, like, honestly, a surprise. I'd forgotten about that show.
Arcane, number one.
Arcane, number one.
My students keep telling me to watch this, and I was like, yeah, I don't play the game though. So, but hearing this now, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna.
You're not the first person who's told me that, who I've heard this from. So it's definitely worth
it's magical.
Yeah. My number one, we all know, is WandaVision. So the reason why this one is number one and not any of the other Marvel shows, everybody who, if you've listened to me on Mike Contextualizes the Universe, knows that I'm a big Marvel fan. I love the MCU. I'm more of an MCU fan than I am a Marvel Comics fan, if that makes sense. But I loved so one of the ironies of this whole thing is that Marvel was planning a whole shift into this kind of storytelling, episodic television storytelling, limited series, etc., before COVID hit. So they kind of were ahead of the curve when everything started to go to streaming and the theaters shut down. Like, they were delaying Black Widow and all this stuff, but this was going to be their first foray into television regardless of COVID. And it was like a huge question mark on everybody's mind. Also, it was called WandaVision. The trailer, it all had pictures of like house, like the I Love Lucy shit and all that stuff. And the first episode was weird and did not reveal anything other than that they're in this show for some reason. And I remember people getting so mad at not knowing what was going on. And that's when I fell in love with weekly release television again. When suddenly you had water cooler talk again.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think it means? The hexagon? And then every fucking YouTube breakdown video was about motherfucking Mephisto. Yes. And it wasn't, they were just like, I could picture like Kevin Feige there going like, they think it's Mephisto. But it allowed for that kind of conversation to happen. Weekly release schedule on streaming platforms. So it would drop and then everyone has a chance to go watch it today. It came out today. Go watch it. And then you talk about it for a week and then the next one hits. And the reveal of Wanda's grief and how she's it was a fucking study on how people handle grief and post-traumatic stress disorder. It was incredible in the way it was done. And there were so many people that were like, oh, this is boring and stuff. And I'm like, that's because you wanted something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, wait for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I guarantee you're going to get whatever action you want out of that one.
Right.
Wait for Hawkeye. Wait for all these other ones. This is very specifically a character piece on the Scarlet Witch. The reveal of the fucking Scarlet Witch was amazing. And the way it ends, where it leaves the dark hold and all this magical parallel energy, and it was the fact that she's unlocking her chaos magic, and they kind of dropped that. And Catherine Hahn was fucking incredible the whole time.
She really was.
Everyone was great in that show. The structure was like incredibly well done for episodic storytelling. It genuinely was one of my favorite shows, and it kind of ushered in a new way of thinking for me for television. Like that, it redefined like the binge or whatever. I used to think it didn't matter. But then once I saw the water cooler thing happening again, like when people used to watch broadcast television, and if you missed a show, you missed it. People, I missed a show last night. What happened? And then they
don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Like you hear that all the time at the office.
You hear that now. But before, if you didn't watch or record on a VCR, the latest, whatever show, you had to wait for it to come out. But never. You didn't wait. You never saw it again. Someone had to tell you what happened, so when you watch next week, you're not lost.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Sometimes they would replay it like the next week, but like
just before.
Just before, or like they might play it again late at night, but something like that. But yeah, you were pretty much boned
But that was after. I'm talking about like way back, like before.
Oh, yeah, that's
UPN
that's
and
what
like
I'm
before Fox. Fox just started in the 90s. Like Fox started in 1989. Like there was only 3 networks. Like people don't realize how quickly what the art of watching television has changed. Like it used to be like, especially like talk shows and like Saturday Night Live. That was it. And that's what everybody talked about. If you watched it, you kind of had like an inside baseball. You were inside on a joke or some sort of special thing.
Right.
And that's what I feel like WandaVision brought that back, because you couldn't watch ahead. You know, how many times you were watching a show and someone binge watching and were like, oh, there's vampires at the end of Midnight Mass. And then you're like,
Sorry,
oh, I hadn't gotten there yet. Oh, one of my honorable mentions was going to be The Witcher.
I was gonna ask you later.
I'm only like 2 or 3 episodes in. I'm like
the second season?
taking it really. Yeah, I'm taking it really slowly. I just can't make the time for it. But so far, the episodes I've seen, I already like it more than season 1, which I did really like.
I loved season 1 and season 2. Again, I'm going to go to bat for the weekly release schedule, where if The Witcher was being released weekly, it would be all over social media. It's not even a blip on anyone's radar right now. I don't see it on Twitter at all. People are just commenting on Henry Cavill, and they're still talking about him as Superman. Yeah, they should. Geralt of Rivia should be all over everyone's radar, and it's a shame.
Well,
that
there's that one
the show is
TikTok.
great.
There's that one TikTok close up of his face going mine, and then women going, "Oh my god, yes, daddy!" Like that's what they're doing.
But imagine if they had every week of that for 10 weeks.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
I just want to play Warhammer with him.
Yeah.
Him and Tom Holland are supposed to have a game,
right? I want in.
That sounds like a good game. Everyone on Twitter was like offering, "I'll run D&D for you. I'll run a game for you. I'll do all this stuff. I got everything. But where do you want me?" Like everyone was like, please, this is my time to shine.
Come to the Flores dungeon.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, imagine
Vin Diesel too, man. You get Vin Diesel.
Nah, fuck Vin Diesel. He's run a Rye of the Rock too many times for me to still support.
We already had a kind of Fast and the Furious-esque episode. It's called Miami Spice, starring the incomparable Mike Mercadal. Check it out.
R. Alex Murray. Yeah,
that's right.
I play Scott McQueen.
Scott McQueen.
He was inspired by Colonel Sanders.
And
all of that makes sense if you listen to the episode 1 of each. What do you call them? The lore episode? Or
exactly. It's like episode 23, because you were the season finale.
Yeah.
So 23 would be the character building. Episode 24 is the one shot Miami Spice.
That's what I'm telling you. Like he would be great on that show. Well, guys, I think we did it.
Yeah, we have a perfect mountain. We have a mountain. I mean,
we have a mountain. So the ones that repeated were Only Murders in the Building got 2.
Yeah.
Midnight Mass got 3. So Midnight Mass is number 1. Then we got Only
Squid Game also got 3, but Midnight Mass was number 1 on people's lists, and Squid Game wasn't.
Well, there's only 4 that duplicated because I wrote them down as we did it. It's Midnight Mass, Only Murders in the Building, Squid Game, and WandaVision. So that's our mountain.
That's our mountain.
Yeah.
And I will give a Midnight Mass because it got 2 number 1s and a fervent Catholic response from the most holy of. I really want to watch.
That's a solid mountain.
I can't even make jokes about Midnight Mass. I have 0 ammo. Like I have no idea what to make fun of it about. It's like midnight. Or,
man,
hey, you got too much mass. So stupid. Thank you everybody for watching. If you're watching live, thank you everybody for watching. If you're listening on the podcast, watch it live. Follow at GeekBro on Twitter, or follow MtGeekmore at MtGeekmore on all the social media. And follow us at Mike Mercadal, at Wayward Sons _67 on Instagram, at Shiverpod. Everybody go listen to Shiverpod on the Geek Bro Network for horror movies, and go listen to Jeff's show with Q, Crimacopia, true crime stuff. But special guest Alexander Stein. Follow him at Dungeon Floor, and we talked a little bit about it. But Stein, drop your your elevator pitch for your.
Oh yes, come listen to the Flores Dungeon. I get 2 new guests every single month. We build characters in our first episode based off of just random rolls on the calendar month, and then we play a custom built one shot in my Double Dare dungeon full of dad jokes. I'm the one and only Pungeon Master Alexander Stein. Follow on all the socials at Dungeon Floor. Again, that is the floor is a dungeon.
If that has not dissuaded you, it may have persuaded you to go watch and listen. Go listen to the Flores Dungeon. Thank you everybody for listening. Check out.
Hey, Mike, don't forget to Kickflix. You and me.
Well, I was just about to say.
Oh, I thought you were gonna drop it. Your pitch for yourself.
No, we're gonna go follow all of the shows on the Geek Bro Network, including but not limited to. What's Up Bro? Every Wednesday you can watch it live, or you can follow us at WooBroPod on all the socials. And Kickflix. Gotcha.
Seasons, right? Seasons.
Dosavelli and
Comedy Fitness.
Comedy Fitness, Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez. But I will say Kickflix, especially because we are on it. And we got a couple episodes coming up where we're gonna do
Police Story.
Well, yes, Jackie Chan's Police Story.
Yes,
and
so good.
All these were determined randomly by a wheel of selection.
Yes.
And the original cinematic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
It's gonna be great. So follow us at KickFlixPod on all social media. And Shiver, what does Shiver have coming up? Shiver, what movie?
Actually, we're doing quite a bit. So this week on Wednesday, we'll be doing this will be in the past for those of you listening instead of watching live. We'll be doing We Need to Do Something, which is a Hulu original, followed by Scream, the original, to commemorate the release of the new Scream.
The new Scream, that's right.
Yeah. And a movie called Veronica, a Spanish film, which supposedly, if Netflix is to be believed, only 1 in 100 people finished watching it because it was, quote, too scary.
Wow.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, thank you for watching and listening. And remember to go out and make your own mountain. I don't know. What's the closing line?
That's how mountains are made.
That's how mountains are made.
Okay.
Or what was it, Dave? Dave, what's the?
I'm pretty sure it's that's how winning is done.
No, that's the Woobro one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
That's
I don't
the
fucking know that.
That's how making a mountain is
By
manufactured.
stealing them from Native Americans.
Go steal a mountain, everybody.
That's how Moors are geeked.
That's how. Bye.